What's going on, everyone? Welcome to my new series called Welcome To. Welcome To is going to be starter guides. They're non-spoilers, so we have no spoilers in it. And what we're talking about here is a lot of Souls-like games, a lot of Soulsborne games, as they call them, or other games that I feel fit the channel very well. And we're doing startup guides. So these are kind of basically to go through, get you an idea of what you're looking at, because a lot of these games don't hold your hand, especially in the Souls games. They don't hold your hands. They don't really give all, you do learn the features down the line, but in the beginning, it's a little overwhelming. There's a lot of stuff to it, and sometimes you just want to get in there, get a good feel and everything like that. I'm going to give some personal opinions, so that way the community doesn't come down hard on me on my own personal opinion, but these will be my personal opinions and personal starters or starting characters to go with. And again, no spoilers. And then, and we're going to do these kind of in like a couple parts. This will probably be about 3 to 4 videos for each game. We're going to cover Neo, Mortal Shell, Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Demon Souls, Death's Gambit, all the games that are Souls-like and everything like that. And then again, some other games, probably like Gods of Fall, other things of that nature. And we're going to go do those, and we're going to talk about them. We'll go through a couple topics only, so that way you're not bogged down with one video that's like an hour long with everything. We're only going to talk about 2 topics, and then look for the next video. I don't have a schedule set yet. Once a week for now. I'll set a day, though, and then we'll have a certain day that will just be based on Welcome To. So with that being said, welcome to Bloodborne, one of the best Victorian horror experiences you could ever have in the Souls universe. Game is amazing. It's one of my favorite of the Souls games and stuff. And I think everyone should definitely play it. Now let's first get 2 elephants in this room and get it taken care of right off the bat. First off, you're going to die a lot. And that doesn't mean someone's going to turn around and say, well, you need to get good. I hate that. Personally, I know it's a meme and a joke and everything, but I personally hate when someone tells you, oh, you need to get good. It's just a pet peeve of mine. Because it's not so much about getting good. It's about learning. These games are built to be learned. First off, this isn't God of War. All right? You're not going to run through and be like, I'm killing everything in front of me. Let's go. It's not like that. All right. It will later on down the line when you get really good. And there we go. When you get good, when you get really better at these games and you've got like a really high, powerful character, then you're going to be running it. But even then, you can still be overwhelmed. So always keep that in mind. The game's about going slow and learning. And what I mean by learning, you're learning the enemy patterns, you're learning the boss patterns, you're learning the levels. Because these are not RNG. These are all based off of, as you go through, you're going to learn where enemies are. You're going to learn where traps are. You're going to learn how enemies fight. And once you do, that's when it all clicks. And you realize that your deaths are not a punishment. They are a learning tool. When you died by that boss, what happened? How did you die? Oh, I rolled off a cliff there. Okay, so I got to make sure I don't do that again. Oh, this boss has a lot of fire. I need something that is going to work against that. Do I have resistances against that? Things of that nature. All those things are going to click as you play. And then you're going to realize you're playing one of the best action RPG series there ever is. And I'll take that to the grave with me. Mr. Graves, we'll put that on my gravestone. Anyway, with that being said, welcome to Bloodborne. Bloodborne, again, is an amazing Victorian Gothic horror game, has some Cthulhu elements and all that stuff. I'm not going to get into spoilers or anything, but it is an amazing game if you love that type of style. And if you're a Souls fan in general, or if you want to start getting into the Souls game, this is one of the best games I personally think to start with. You can play this on PC, you can play this on PlayStation. It started on PlayStation, it's gone to PC. You definitely have your options. So, what are we looking at here? First topic is, what is online, what is offline? Let's get into those right off the bat. Online brings a few different elements into the game. Okay, first off, it brings messages and blood splatters. These are kind of spoiler situations. Now, I'm not going to tell you, these basically will kind of spoil certain things because messages will tell you they're left by other players. and they will tell you certain things like this boss is weak to fire, or watch out around this corner, or they're little hidden messages sometimes. They're not like sometimes they can be very direct, sometimes they can be kind of cryptic, but it will give you kind of an idea. Chest ahead or something. Sometimes it can be trollish too. Got to be careful. Sometimes someone will leave one near the edge of a cliff and be like, oh, treasure down below. Yeah, you go to jump down, then all of a sudden you find that was just actually a way to die. So there is that. So you got to keep out an eye. Blood splatters are kind of a glimpse into the future. How did this player in this other world die? Well, they turned a corner and then all of a sudden they died. So there's something over there that I got to watch out for. Again, that's kind of spoiler because you want to experience all this for your first time. We're going to get into that by playing offline. What else does it bring to the table? It brings two other elements, PvP and helping other players or being helped by other players. So, when you get a certain bell that you can ring, and that's a little further in the game, you're able to, so if you're at a boss and you're getting your butt kicked, you're able to ring that bell and have another player come and help you. And this is great for progression and whatnot, especially if you get to a point where you hit a wall and you're like, I just can't move forward. This thing is just kicking my butt. So, that's when you would turn online on, or that's when you would call for another help. Now, the other thing about that is, while you're leveling and you want to level up more, you're thinking to yourself, man, I really could use some more levels. You know what I'll do? I'll help some other players out just like they helped me out. Or I know this boss and I know this boss really well. Or this boss is a pain in the butt. I'm betting some people are probably stuck on them. Let me ring my bell and go help them out. So that's what it brings. Now, however, though, there is a thing to that. And this is where the Souls community loves as well, too. PvP. When you ring these bells, or when you do the certain things to go and join someone's other world and help them out, it opens up a gateway to another player. That other player is coming to kill you or kill your friend. And that's when the PvP kicks in. Now, there's certain zones that always have this running, but there's other ways to do this too. There's an actual NPC that shows up after you ring the bell. You'll start hearing a bell in the distance somewhere. And if you can find that NPC and kill it, you'll shut that gateway down. So that means that other player will not be able to come in and kill you or your friend. Your friend will still be there to help you, or you'll still be there to help the other person. But if that bell's not ringing anymore, you won't have to worry about what is called an invasion. So that's another thing you have to worry about when you're online. My personal suggestion, and this is where my first personal suggestion comes in, play the game offline. Learn everything for yourself. Learn the mystery, learn where the monsters are, learn the levels, learn everything. Don't use the little hints, don't use the little blood splatters. Play offline and enjoy everything. Take everything in. One thing, like I said before, any Souls-like player will tell you if they could have their memory wiped and play one of these games over from start to finish without knowing anything, they'd take it in a heartbeat. That's why a lot of streamers obviously get mad too, and content creators, when they're playing for the first time and someone's in their content, someone's commenting in their stream or in their thing saying, oh, if you go here and you do this, blah, blah, blah. That's why people get angry, because it's like, I want to know this by myself. Please let me experience this. So that's a big thing. Okay, so that's our first topic. Let's go right into the game. We're going to go offline. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to make a new character. We're going to skip this, so that way when you guys go in, you can see it for yourself. Take your time, enjoy everything. And here we are. We're at the character creation screen. This is our second topic. So this video is probably going to last about maybe 12, 15 minutes tops. We're going to get into everything that's on this screen, and then after that, we're going to cut it, and we'll make another video on the next steps. So this is our character creation screen. We can make a male or female. We start out by entering our name, whatever it may be. There are some restrictions, so if you are one of those people that like to troll with names and stuff, be careful, just to give you a heads up. And you have your age, young, mature, or aged. These have no effects on your attributes or your abilities, so you can go ahead and it's more for looks, if anything else. One thing I like about this game is right off the bat, I see this guy, and I'm already seeing Christopher Lee in my head, which is cool. That's actually on my main save. I have a guy that's actually named Christopher Lee. So I was a big Hammer horror fan back in the day. So with that being said, now we go to Origin. So we're going to do a little comparison here at the Souls. what this is like your class system. So in Souls, you have your class, you have your knights, you have your paladin, you have your templars, you have your mage, you have everything like that. This game really doesn't derive itself so much around classes as in terms of kind of building the character you want to play as and stuff like that. Like, because this is more Victorian, there's not like knights and paladins and everything else running around and stuff like that. And kind of is, but there kind of isn't. It's kind of a weird situation. So what they do is they do it by almost like an RPG style background, right? So you have lone survivor, you had a troubled childhood, you had a violent past, you're a professional, you're a military veteran, stuff like that. And as you can see, as I'm clicking these, all these little attributes or abilities on the right-hand side are all changing up. Okay, so Storm, what are those? Let's go through those before we talk about what's in the middle here. On the right-hand side of the screen, these are your main attributes or abilities. These are going to be the one things that are going to consist with you throughout the entire game, and you're going to build up. First off, right off the bat, the crescent moon is the level. Leveling, as you know, in any RPG, is a situation that as you level up, you get better. You get to put more points in your abilities, your attributes, you get stronger, you get faster, etc. Blood echoes. So, again, comparison to Souls, what's the main currency? What's the main thing? Souls. In this game, it's blood. See how we're going with this Victorian horror setting? Love it. Blood echoes allow you to level up, allow you to buy certain things, and go from there. So, every time you defeat an enemy, you're going to gain blood echoes. Every time you die, you're going to lose blood echoes, unless you go back and you get them again. We'll talk about that later in another video. Vitality. So, when you ever watch a streamer or a content creator or anybody playing a Souls, or even a commercial and them showing, and you see this big red bar on the top, and it's all the health, that's what vitality is. The higher your vitality, the more hits you can take, the more health you have. I always suggest, as a first-time player, boost that bad boy up. Just go all the way up. Find the hard cap. You can go online, look up what the hard cap is. I couldn't tell you offhand right off the bat. I'll have to get that information. But probably someone can put it in the comment section down below and say what it is. Get that vitality as high as you can to the hard cap, and then you'll have a significant health bar that will make it really nice to go through the game. It's not an easy mode per se, but it does make the game much better in terms of, okay, I can take multiple hits before I need to heal, or I can take multiple hits from this boss, etc., etc. Endurance is two things. It's your stamina. It's a green bar that's underneath your red bar, and what that does is it allows you to do multiple hits, dodges, etc., before it goes to the end, and you have to wait for it to refill. It also is your resilience. So resilience to fire, resilience to, arcane hits, things like that, thrusting, blunts, anything of that nature and stuff like that. That's going to all be based around your endurance. Now this is, again, my personal opinion. I would say, because we're going to get into the next one, strength. Go a strength character with high vitality and a good amount of endurance, and you're going to rock through you're going to rock through the game really well. So, what do we got next? Strength. Strength, our attack power, our damage. Using a big axe, using a big hammer, two-handed sword, etc., etc. These are for big weapons and big hits. Okay, strength is always a really good starting point in any of these games. High strength is really good for a lot of people. Now, again, personal opinion, because other people might say, well, magic really does good. It face melts and everything like that, which, yes, it does. In certain games, certain titles, definitely it does. But I always base it off of, in the beginning, I like my warrior with a big weapon and with a good amount of vitality to be able to, or a good amount of health to be able to take some hits and do some massive damage. So that's what I go with. Skill. Skill is more based around your dexterity, right? Your dexterous weapon, your swashbuckler type. He's got a couple blades in his hand. He's maybe dual wields. He's got a katana, things like that. The skill will be based around your faster weapons, where strength is more based around your slower, big-hitting weapons. Skill is based around your faster weapons. Like you're a swordsman type, right? You're like a good rapier, and you're like, what, ta, 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 ta. That's what you're going with. You're going with your skill. Blood Tinge, now, in Bloodborne, Blood Tinge is an interesting thing. It is more based off of your guns. So you get guns in this game that allow you to parry. We'll talk about parrying, and I'll show you how parrying works and stuff like that. But for now, that's what that's based off. My personal opinion, don't worry about Blood Tinge. Don't worry about Arcane in the beginning. Save that for your next playthrough or later when you want to start learning about those things better. Arcane, same situation. Now, Arcane in this game is different than, say, Souls. We're going to go back to Souls for a second here. Souls allows you to, like, throw fireballs and arcane blast, magic missiles, the whole 9 yards, etc. You think of, like, old school stuff like, you know, like Gandalf casting spells and, you know, Dungeon Dragons and things like that. Arcane in this is based more, because it's a Victorian horror, you're talking more hexes, you're talking more like a tentacle being shot out of your hand, you're talking more like stuff with the mind and things like that. Like Arcane is based a lot more on not so much of throwing a big fireball, but doing something that's more kind of horror, mind related and things like that. It's definitely fun, but I wouldn't advise it for a starting player. That's just my personal opinion. All right, so that's everything there. And then what we've got in the middle is, again, these are your kind of RPG paths, and you can see, so depending on what you want to do. Now, my personal opinion, I would go with Lone Survivor, or I go with Violent Past. Lone Survivor gives you a good vitality to start with, so you've already got a decent health bar right off the bat. Your strength is already getting up there. So you're doing pretty good. Or Violent Past, you get a very, you get to do some heavy damage right off the bat, and you've got a decent amount of vitality. But Lone Survivor, I would say, is your best bet because you have a good health bar to start with. That's my personal opinion. All right, this is Welcome to Bloodborne. This is the beginning. We covered the online, offline, and we covered your starting character. Next, we're going to actually get into the game. I'm going to show you the different moves and the different things you can do. And then I'm going to show you the actual sanctuary and how to level up and purchase things and such. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comment section if there's anything that you want to learn specifically. And beyond that, let me know if this has helped you in any way wanting to start Bloodborne or jump in and stuff like that. And it would be really appreciated to know. So with that being said, be safe, be just, and as always, huzzah!